I've been here before.
Excellent breakfast, excellent lunch, excellent dinner. I think there was one time I got a pimento cheeseburger. Does that sound right? A pimento cheeseburger, and it's fantastic. So that would be my recommendation. But if you want to, maybe, I'm just saying, right now we got a zone deal going on. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, and you click on that top banner of zone deal and head over to Bubby's Diner. You can get $50 worth of Bubby's food for $25. Come your way down here, enjoy some dinner, enjoy some entertainment, and then you could also walk away with 4 tickets to the Army-Navy football game to boot. So if you don't have dinner plans, we're trying to make them for you. Army currently a 7.5-point favorite over Navy. Navy's won 3 games, I think, this year. So Army a sizable favorite, although the Commanders-in-Chief trophy is on the line for this matchup. Right now, Navy has beaten Air Force. Army has lost to Air Force. It just there's so there is not a 3-way. So this game in particular.
So far today, you've said it's Thursday, and I'm not sure what's happening now.
I did say it was Thursday? Yeah. When did I say it was Thursday? We're somewhere else on Thursday. It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
This day
I don't know what you're trying to say about the Armed Forces thing.
Well, there's a Commanders-in-Chief trophy.
I get that.
That's
yeah, but if
that's
Army
what I've
wins,
read.
It's over.
Yeah, because they won it the year before. Gotcha. So if there is a 3-way tie, Army would keep the Commanders-in-Chief trophy for the 3rd or 4th year in a row. Would this be the 3rd year in a row? 3rd or 4th? I'm losing count under Munkin, who's really turned that program around.
Hero, there, no doubt.
Yeah. So coming up on the program today, coming up in about 10 minutes' time. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your help. I'll take all I can get.
Get him a mic.
The new Troy head football coach, Jon Sumrall, is going to join us as a particular tie here to the community, being from Grissom High School and made his way up the ranks and is now the new head man in charge of the Troy Trojans, and he will join us in about 10 minutes' time. It is Wednesday, so we talk with Eli Gold, the voice of the Crimson Tide, and fresh off of another SEC championship game and another SEC championship win for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We will talk with the voice of the Crimson Tide later on here in hour number 1 as well. And in hour number 2, Rick Neuheisel, on loan from CBS, is going to join us to talk about the playoffs and maybe all these coaching changes that are going on as well, because there is a lot of movement, not just at the top level, but a lot at the coordinator positions.
Yeah, well, when there's a head coach leave, there's going to be a coordinator leave normally. So, absolutely, a lot of changes.
Yes. So that is what is on
and
tap.
It's just now beginning because the other group have not started or are starting to fall now a little bit, but still, there's more to come.
I would. We usually talk with Drew DeArmond on Thursdays, and this just came out from Brett McMurphy, who's sitting outside the NCAA Football Oversight Committee, that the Oversight Committee, this according to Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby, discussing eliminating the early signing period or moving it back to January. I don't see how you could do that because of the early enrollees when the semester starts. It would have to be very early in January, wouldn't it?
You would think because they'd have to enroll before January.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how that'll work. I think it ought to be in the summer and in February. I think it ought to be before football and after football.
That makes too much sense.
Yeah, I know. So it's get it over with. The interesting thing to me is I was reading something just recently, and the first year they moved it to February from December was my year. And I didn't even realize it.
Really?
Yeah. When you're in high school, that's the last thing you're worried about when signing day is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you just wait for. Was it a different signing day when you signed to the SEC?
No. They eliminated that too.
Okay, so that was gone too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be you signed a Southeastern Conference letter of intent, and then so you couldn't go if you signed a letter of intent with Auburn, you couldn't change your mind and go to Alabama, but you could change your mind and go to Texas.
Well, this year, maybe not in 2 years. You know what I'm saying.
No, I don't.
Well, Texas is coming to the Southeastern Conference.
Well, I know, but anyway, yeah, okay. But that was the old rule. Actually, there was a guy from Huntsville that was a center, played at Butler High School, that went from signed a letter of intent with Auburn, then changed his mind, wanted to go to Alabama. Alabama didn't want him to go to Auburn for sure, but he couldn't come to Alabama, so he ended up at Texas. And did well, actually, real well. So,
a few other news and notes to pass along. Former Notre Dame assistant Brian Polian has been named special teams coordinator at LSU, as he is not currently on the staff there at Notre Dame. So still nobody on that Notre Dame staff is making their way to Baton Rouge. And some early projection lines from Las Vegas. As we know, the point spreads right now is Alabama 13.5-point favorite over Cincinnati. And last I checked, it was Georgia still about a 6.5-point favorite over Michigan. Actually, that number is up to 8 now. An 8-point favorite are the Dogs. So the projected title game lines are out. Georgia would be a 14-point favorite if they were to play Cincinnati. Probably not going to happen. Michigan would be a 6-point favorite over Cincinnati. Alabama would be a 6.5-point favorite over Michigan. And Georgia would be a 1.5 favorite over Alabama. Those are the projected lines for said national championship.
And we know how that worked out for them.
Yeah. Well, we certainly do. Yeah, that worked out real well for the red and black.
No, unbelievable.
256-576-4977 is the telephone number. Bama Bino has called in early. Let's sneak in his phone call. How are you, Bama Bino?
I'm doing wonderful. I hope you guys are.
We are.
I wasn't going to call in last night. I called in too late. There was a guy. Well, y'all already had preset to talk to me, and y'all talked to the owner of the furniture factory.
Yep.
I had a couple of comments, and I wasn't going to bring it up either until that guy called him. I really enjoyed that guy's call. He called before the set schedule interview, and the owner, he mentioned about nobody mentioning nothing about, Pearl
Talking
Harbor.
about Jamie?
Is that who that was?
I think it was Jamie.
And then he mentioned something about an irate caller that's always wants to argue. I want to tell him I want to buy him a beer.
You have to go up to the borough.
I know, but I ain't gonna call him out on that. But it is overbearing, and he's a smart guy, seems like. But y'all are funny guys, knowledgeable, and there's no sense in creating havoc. We've got fake news for that. Hey. But the veteran thing, I was going to ask a couple of things, tongue in cheek, anyway. Your dad, you said, was in World War II?
He was, yes, and Korea.
Golly, I thought we were about the same age. He had you late, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That was a point of pride for my dad. That was a big point of pride for my dad. And I realize that more and more as I get older and older.
I mean, we might not be the same age. I'm in my 50s. I figured you was knocking on 50 or a little over.
I'm still in my mid-40s. Thank
Oh, I
goodness.
thought, well, when I saw you, the Meridian Crossing, I thought you looked a little younger than me. Unless you got hair, I don't. But
There's not much up there.
and then the family ties, y'all mentioned it. I wanted to comment on it. I've got that book, Tommy Ford wrote, and it has Wes and his family in it, Billy. And I believe Wes, your dad came from Tuscaloosa, didn't he?
Yeah, from Tuscaloosa area. He was actually from Taylorville,
Northport.
but they say he's from Northport because that was where the high school was.
That was the only closest town, yeah.
Well, what happened was he'd actually have to go through Tuscaloosa. Because Taylorville's south of Taylorville's now where Hillcrest is, high school. And he would have to go through all the way through Tuscaloosa to go to the county school, which is Northport.
But other than that, if y'all know that guy, tell him that Bambino said that I said A-OK on everything he said. And if give him my number, and I'll buy him a beer over there.
We'll pass it along, Bambino.
Thank you, Bambino.
But
they talk.
I love you
Yeah.
guys, and I'll hang up and just know you've got some great listeners on the Sand Mountain.
Thank you, Bambino. Appreciate it. We were kind of talking a little basketball with said person from the borough, and Kentucky did come back and beat Southern last night. Gave the Jaguars their 6th loss of the year as Kentucky improves to 7-1 as they down Southern 76-64. Tennessee loses in overtime in the Jimmy V Classic up in Madison Square Garden, 57-52. The Dogs down the Dolphins of Jacksonville, 69-58. It was Temple in overtime over Vanderbilt as the Commodores are now at 5-3 on the year. Missouri gets a lopsided win over Eastern Illinois, and Arkansas with a 20-point win over Charlotte, 86-66 is that final score there. So let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and heard them this morning, and looking forward to our visit with the new head football coach in charge down at Troy as Coach Jon Sumrall joins us. Coach, how are you this evening, sir?
I am doing outstanding. How are y'all?
Doing real well. Appreciate the time. I know you're a busy man, shuffling 2 jobs, and what's this experience been like getting a new head coaching job for your first time, Coach?
It's pretty safe to say I've been pretty busy and just running wide open, 100 miles an hour. Feel like I've probably stayed on the phone a lot more than normal in regards to just not only is it recruiting season right now, but just taking calls about all kinds of different things, potential staff stuff, and then also trying to help the job at the University of Kentucky the right way and leave on the right note. So juggling a lot of things, but at the same time trying to make sure I focus and keep my eyes on what really matters. And that's really 3 or 4 things that I'm just trying to focus on.
Well, in some programs that we follow pretty closely, there's always a guy that you just kind of lean on more than others, be it Dabo, it's Woody McCorvey, and for Nick Saban, it might be a coach like Coach Joe Pendry. Is there someone that you lean on during this time and might lean on more that you're putting this staff together, Coach?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm currently with a guy, Al Pogue, who's a former high school coach in Alabama and coached at Troy with me my first stint there. And Al left Troy and went to West Virginia with Neil, and then went to Auburn with Gus. And so Al has been with me all day. I've known Al ever since I went to Troy the first time in December of 2014. We've known each other very well, and so Al's kind of been somebody I've leaned on and been with him all day today and been on the recruiting trail, and so got a lot of trust in him and big guys that were on the previous staff that have been retained that I have got really good relationships and history with.
Interesting, and especially this being your first go around, it is important to have those ties. And I would think you would know quite a bit of, be it the president and certain administrators down at Troy, a little bit better than maybe you thought. Just that familiarity, how much does that help you, Coach?
Yeah, that's a great point. So, at my press conference, I looked out in the crowd, the audience, and there's a couple of faces maybe I didn't recognize, but I'd say 90-some% of the faces I had seen before, and knew a lot of them by name, and a lot of close friends and people that my family had great relationships with in our previous stint at Troy. So a lot of relationships there. Obviously, Chancellor Jack Hawkins, he's been there for quite a while, and Brent Jones, now the current AD at that time when I left to go to Ole Miss, he was an AD at Troy. So a lot of familiar faces, a lot of people I've already got really good relationships with.
How did working for Coach Stoops help kind of prepare you to be a head coach in your mind? What does he do that makes him such a good coach?
Well, you look at what Coach Stoops has done at Kentucky, and I think it sometimes it goes maybe unnoticed. I mean, the year before Coach got to Kentucky, Vanderbilt beat Kentucky by 40 points, okay? So he walked into what was the doormat of the SEC, and it wasn't even close. And now we're about to go to our fifth straight bowl game. We've won 3 in a row. Hopefully get to 4 in a row this year. And we just finished 5-3 in the SEC in sole possession of second place in the SEC East. And so I think you look at his model of consistency, having a plan, working his plan, knowing you're going to go through some good stuff and some bad stuff, but just staying true to himself and what he believes in, his core values, and just really making sure that you've got an environment of positive energy and hard work where guys, they understand every day you got to bring your best, but at the same time, we're going to have a fun time doing it.
So I went to the Troy game this year against Louisiana. I hadn't been there in a long time. The facilities were impressive, really, and even the fans that showed up. But one thing I see is all the championships that they've won.
Larry Blakeney.
Yeah, how do you get Troy back to those times?
Yeah, so I think one of the best indicators sometimes of future success is has a place had past success, and football is really important at Troy. And not every Group of 5 school treats football maybe the same way Troy does. Troy values what football brings to the university, and whether it be in the 60s winning an NAIA national championship, in the 80s winning 2 Division II national championships, in the 90s being an FCS power, and then since 2004 kind of being a giant killer of knocking off Power 5 teams and winning 6 conference championships since 2006. Football matters. And I think you can get a branded kid at Troy that loves football because the campus, when you walk around, it's beautiful, but you can tell by the stadium that people care, and by the new North End Zone building that was built just a few years ago after I left. It was completed. So when a kid shows up on our campus, it doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to recognize, man, this place football matters. And so, I mean, not that this is the end-all, be-all, but we've got the biggest jumbotron in the Group of 5 football, in our North End Zone building. It's the biggest one there is. So you put your money where things matter, and you can tell they put money into football.
Talking with Troy head football coach Jon Sumrall, and it's pretty awesome to kind of follow you and starting it from Grissom. That love for football, did it start at Grissom High School for you, Coach?
I grew up as a young kid. I remember listening to Alabama games in 1991 on the radio. My whole life, to some extent, been like a football junkie. I mean, it's in my blood. I don't think there's ever really been any thought about what I would do next. I was always in the game. I had done playing and went straight into coaching. And so I can't imagine myself doing anything else. And it's like really every day, I kid around about this a lot, but every day I go to football in the morning. My wife, she goes to work because we got 4 young kids. And so she got a real job. I get to go coach football every day.
Well, Coach, I can tell you're out and about recruiting, and so something tells me you're in some backwoods area at the moment because your cell service is going in and out. So I'm just going to kind of let you do your thing back there. And we're all rooting for you here in North Alabama. There's no doubt about that, and I know we'd love to have you back on, Coach.
I appreciate that, and y'all are welcome to come visit us anytime in Troy. We'd love to have y'all.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time today.
Right. Appreciate y'all.
That is Troy head football coach Jon Sumrall joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and just cool his journey from Grissom High School, immediately went into coaching at Kentucky under Rich Brooks, and then just kind of hopped around and had some influences. For instance, Neil Brown there at Troy, and
where's Neil Brown now?
he is at West Virginia, and some others include Matt Luke in his 1 year at Ole Miss. He was there for 1 year. Matt Luke was there, obviously, for more than 1 year at Ole Miss. But then I was wanting
coach and jump around.
Yeah, that nomad life that is being a college head coach. Let's take our first time out as we're live here at Bubby's. Come on down. We're here till 7. We're the warm-up crew for Crawdad.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm Chris Haygood at Bob Wallace Appliance.
Hey, Dad, if someone gets an appliance for Christmas, how will Santa get it down the chimney?
Magic.
Madeline, part of the magic of the season is our chance to get together again. More often than not, those gatherings will be in the kitchen. Look for holiday savings on the best brands you already know and trust, like Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Maytag.
Santa's gonna need some help delivering those.
That's what we're here for.
Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman.
Bob Wallace Appliance.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000-square-foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyandersonford.com, with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Bubby's Diner, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. Coming up in about 15 minutes' time, the voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold, that is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. The NCAA Oversight Committee meeting today. Several commissioners quoted to reporters today. Among them include ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips, saying